Well, hello everybody, I'm back again. Today I'm going to be working on a segmented bowl that I'm going to be entering in this year's North Carolina State Fair. I've gotten most of the time-consuming work done. Each ring consists of 12 segments. Each segment is cut at an exact 15-degree angle. You have to cut it exactly 15 degrees or you'll have gaps in here, and that not only looks bad, but it affects the sturdiness of the bowl. For this bowl, I'm using ash for the top ring. I've got some purple heart here that I'm going to put in about in the middle of it for just add a little color. And I don't know what kind of wood this is. It looks kind of like zebra wood. But it came from an abandoned lumber yard in Asheville, North Carolina. My nephew got it for me. Like I say, I don't exactly know what it is. But again, each ring is 12 segments. I cut them out on my table saw here using a sled jig that I made, that I got from watching YouTube posted by a fellow woodworker, the segmenter, for added decoration on this particular bowl. Before I assembled each ring, I drilled a hole in the center of it and then cut oak plugs, and they go all the way through. You can see they go all the way through on both sides. When you turn it, it should, I've never done that before, but it should look pretty interesting. Adds a little bit of design to it. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rings. That's a total of 84 segments. The diameter of the ring is determined by the length of each segment that you cut. So these segments are 1/4 inch longer. Each progressive ring is 1/4 inch longer except for the top 3. That's to give the bowl will come up at an angle like this and then go straight up. And it's going to be a fairly deep bowl because each one of these rings are 1 inch in thickness. And again, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 full width rings. So that's 6, and this is about 1/4 inch, and then the bottom is going to be 3/4 inch. It's made out of this same type of wood here, and I'll show you it in a upcoming segment. What I'll do now, after I glued the segments together, I used a strap, band strap, tightened it up with my drill. That clamped all the rings, all the segments together. Used lots of glue because even though you'll have a lot of squeeze out, it can fill any little imperfections or voids in the wood. Okay, so what I'll do now is, well, after I glued them together, let them dry, I install these plugs on each one. There's 60 plugs because there's 12 segments on 5 rings. 12 times 5 is 60. So we got 60 plugs in these rings. After I got the plugs in there and let them dry, I ran them through my drum sander, and that gives a perfectly flat surface here because all the rings have to fit snugly together. They'll be glued, stacked on top of each other, and I'll show you how I do that when I start working on them. If you notice the wind in the background, that's Hurricane Irene blowing through here. I'm in Raleigh, so we're just getting the outer bands of it, but we've had some fairly nice gusts. I hope everybody on the coast is okay. But anyway, I'll come back and show you more when I start gluing these segments together. And then we'll start turning after everything dries. Okay, this is the bottom that I was telling you about. It's made out of that same type of wood. I'm going to call it zebra wood because I don't know what else it is. But it's heavy and there's a lot of sap in it. The bottom, as you can see, is 3/4 inch thick. I just jointed and glued 4 pieces together. Then I cut a 1 inch diameter hole in the very center of it, and I cut a 1 inch plug to fill this hole after I get through turning it. The reason for the hole is I mount this 1-inch adapter, threaded adapter, to the drive shaft on the lathe. Then I tighten it up with this great big nut, and that holds it on there. After I get everything turned, I'll disassemble it, I'll put the plug in it, sand everything off, and the bowl will be finished. But anyway, we'll come back in a few minutes and I'll show you how I glue the rings together. Okay, I've got 4 of the rings glued now. I'm working from the top, which is the ash, and then the bottom will be the very last piece. As you'll notice, I'm alternating every other one. This is kind of like building a brick wall. It not only adds beauty, but it also makes it structurally sound. So the bowl just, if all the seams lined up together, they would just break apart. Mostly I just do it by eyeballing it. You can pretty much get it lined up. If you look straight down, you can see that the corners are lining up. Okay, well, I'll go ahead and glue the rest of it together. I have to talk fast because I don't want the glue to set before I get it clamped down. I'm using just regular Titebond waterproof, water resistant glue. So you do have some work time with it. And it's humid today and not too hot, so it doesn't set up real quickly. But anyway, we'll put some more on and come back and I'll show you when I get it completely glued up. Okay, I've gotten everything glued up and clamped down. I just use a 9/16 threaded rod that goes all the way up from the bottom of this melamine board here. This I think was a shelf or something at one time, but I adapted it for my own use. Glue doesn't stick to it. You can mark pencil on it and wipe it off if you need to. And it doesn't hurt if it gets messed up. But as you tighten down on the nut, you can see the glue squeeze out. Even on the pieces that you put on, right here's one, even on the pieces that have been on there 15-20 minutes, which is a good thing. That means that it's seating properly. There won't be any gaps on it. Okay, that's going to be a big bowl and quite a project to turn, but I think I'm up to the challenge. Okay, we're going to let this dry for 24 hours. I'm going to take a cloth, wet cloth, and wipe off this excess glue. The only reason I do that is I just don't like the glue on my lathe tools, the dried glue. It tends to dull them up a little bit quicker. The bottom here, you can see it's not cut exactly to the ring. I just trimmed off the corners of it so that it won't be catching the tool as I'm turning it. And then I mounted that on. But anyway, I've got plenty of glue. Gonna let it dry now, and we'll come back tomorrow and do the turning on it. And I'll take some pictures of me while I'm turning it. Some of you have asked to see that. I think these wooden oak dowels that I put in there are gonna look very nice. Everything looks different once you turn it anyway. As anybody that's ever turned anything knows, that's what's so much fun about turning, because you never know what's on the inside of the wood till you get there. Okay, well, we'll come back, and I hope the hurricane's gone tomorrow, because it's really blowing outside now. Rain, wind, not as bad as they're having it on the coast, though. I hope everybody out there is okay. Okay, I'll come back tomorrow and we'll do some more. Okay, it's been about 18 hours and we're back. The weather's a whole lot better today. Irene is gone, and there's not a cloud in the sky. But anyway, you can see that the glue has all dried on the piece. It's all lined up. This is what the inside looks like. All this will get smoothed out, turned away. We're going to mount it up on the lathe, and then we're going to get started turning. Show you what it looks like. I'm excited too, because I don't really know what it's going to look like. But it's going to be nice, and it's going to win a first place ribbon at the fair. All right, we'll be right back.